everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
We did, didn't we?
We watched so many movies, actually. It has been the Sundance Film Festival 2021. It was like 5 intensive days of movies. I watched 32 of them. Not true. I watched 31 of them and accidentally watched a docuseries. But today we're talking about just one, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas.
So we're going to talk about this one first because it's coming out first. So makes the sense.
It does.
But we've got plenty more of these where this came from, so stay tuned. And if you can't wait, and I wouldn't blame you if you couldn't, you can visit us at our website. Already there are dozens of Sundance reviews published.
Literally.
I'm tired, guys.
She's been busy.
Yeah, I have. My little fingers. Anyways, Judas and the Black Messiah, coming out February 12th on HBO Max. Set your calendars. HBO Max is where it's at. Also, theatrically, if you have a theater and you don't mind dying. I mean, the dying is not like for sure, but it's also like a risk probably you don't want to take.
It seems like if you can watch it from home, just watch it from home.
Watch it from home, how about? Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. Did you prefer Judas or the Black Messiah?
Did I prefer Judas or the Black Messiah?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Judas is the more interesting character.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's inform everyone at home what this movie is about. It is actually the true story of Fred Hampton. That would be the Black Messiah. He was actually the chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party. And this story is about his ultimate betrayal by FBI informant William O'Neill. That would be the Judas.
The Judas.
Now, Daniel Kaluuya, who plays the Black Messiah, who plays Fred Hampton, just got a Golden Globes nomination. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
It was a supporting acting nomination, and I'm still trying to do the math on that one.
Why is he supporting?
Yeah. He's the Messiah. Seems almost blasphemous
A little
to
bit.
call him the supporting actor, but anyways.
You wouldn't call Jesus a supporting actor in the Bible.
Well, maybe we should.
Maybe. Okay.
You know, we have an acquaintance of ours who thought that they gave the supporting actor awards to the most supportive characters in the movies. That's not the case. They don't have to be really supportive. They're not like your most counsel-y kind of friends.
No.
It's just not the starring role. It should be about your proportion of screen time, but movie studios do a weird kind of math where they just try to maximize their awards.
Yep.
And so some weird people sneak into this category. What can we say? So we've also got Jesse Plemons as Roy Mitchell, the FBI guy. The inside man.
So he's a supporting actor.
Yes, agreed. Martin Sheen as J. Edgar Hoover.
Almost unrecognizable.
Yes, and I thought it was really interesting because they're all playing real people, but I guess because we don't really know Fred Hampton, we don't know what he looked like, so we don't care if he now looks like Daniel Kaluuya in our heads. But everybody knows what J. Edgar Hoover looked like. That's not true. Everybody knows what he looks like in other movies.
Yeah.
So poor Martin Sheen, they made him sit in the makeup chair for like 3-4 hours every day.
Lots of wrinkles on him.
Yes. And like, he's not a spring chicken.
No. He's
probably playing a man who was younger than him.
Most definitely.
But they had to make him look worse.
Yep.
Good for you, Martin Sheen, first of all. J. Edgar, sorry dude, but...
Don't be sorry.
Well, no, it's J. Edgar Hoover, I guess I don't really owe him a lot of sympathy. But on top of that, other supporting performances from Dominique Fishback, Algee Smith, Lil Rel Howery, Ashton Sanders. So lots of a really great cast, actually.
Yeah, it is.
But this really does come down to the 2, maybe 3. Jesse Plemons has a sizable role.
He's significant, yeah.
Yes.
But
and he's good. He's good in everything. He's good in this.
He's reliable.
But let's call it Judas and the Black Messiah. I really like, now director Shaka really does give kind of equal footing to both of these characters. And I thought it was interesting how the guy, William O'Neill, the Judas, isn't, I mean, despite the title, isn't necessarily made out to be the Judas or the true villain.
He's not the true villain.
No.
I think that's something that we can definitely, or should be able to agree on. Mm-hmm. He's in a tough spot.
Yes. And so I thought it was really important and very, because it was in his hands, also produced by Ryan Coogler, by the way, in some very capable hands to tell this important story and really show that this guy is maybe not the villain that, history books would very easily paint him as the villain.
Yeah.
But when you look at the macro, we see Jesse Plemons, who really just wants to please his boss, J. Edgar, and it will stop at nothing to do it, obviously. And really does, a tough spot is putting it mildly, really comes down on this guy for almost nothing and forces him into this position that he doesn't want to be in. He's not this guy. This is not his idea whatsoever. And he's constantly, and they're upping the stakes on him all the time.
They are. They're keeping him tied. He thinks he just has to do the one thing, but then it's another and another and another, and they're holding his crimes, his minor crimes, as you said, against him, where they're going to send him up the river if he does not do exactly what they want him to do, which is bring down Fred Hampton.
I mean, ultimately, this does lead to Fred Hampton's assassination.
Yep.
And I forget if he was 21 or 22 years old. He was super young. It is hard, even watching this movie, because he was obviously already a very important figure. And Daniel Kaluuya plays him with such gravitas and the lyricism of his speech. It's so infectious that I had to remind myself how young this guy was to have taken on such a big responsibility. And to already be affecting so many people and really galvanizing them and...
Yeah, well, that's why the FBI was so afraid of this guy, is because he was bringing everyone together. It's not just, obviously he's the Black Panther leader of Chicago, but he's not just bringing people into the Black Panthers. He's uniting all of these other groups who you would think have no association with the Black Panthers and didn't until Fred Hampton was like... we all have the same interest of changing society because we're all downtrodden, and whatever you are, if you're black, if you're white, whatever color you are, you're on the outside, and let's all get together and change things.
So he was the true definition of a revolutionary.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what scares the FBI.
The institution.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because another thing I like about this movie is that it kind of gives you an almost 101 type class on Black Panther ideals and what they stood for and what they wanted to accomplish. And again, when you look in the history books, they again like to cast them as villains a lot of the time. And we see how pigeonholed they were, how scapegoated, I suppose, what I really mean is. They were a lot of the time, so much stuff pinned on them. Yeah,
well, and that's part of the FBI using disinformation to discredit them, and that's part of the movie, which is really interesting to see. Obviously, that was happening. That still happens today, where we spin things in the media the way that we want it to play out. And yeah, we can paint someone as the bad side, even though the Black Panthers were fighting for equality. That's not a controversial idea now, but clearly that was something that was very feared in the 60s and 70s when all of this was happening.
But it is, when you bring your 2021 eyes to the screen and you see them, looking towards education and wanting to end hunger, you realize these should not be scary, radical ideas.
No.
Why did anyone oppose these things?
Yep.
And yet they had to
Yeah.
rally and it was crazy for them to even say it, and people would kill them for saying it.
Yeah.
Because it somehow posed such a threat to the institution.
Yeah.
And wow. So it is pretty crazy. That's not such a long time ago.
No, it's not.
You know. Historically, it is not such a long time ago that these things...
Historically, it's just the blink of an eye.
Yeah. So, like we said, Daniel Kaluuya, super, super good at this.
But also, Lakeith Stanfield.
So good
super
at this.
good.
Yes.
As Judas.
Yes. Because that might be the harder one to play.
That absolutely is the harder one to play. He does make you feel something for this guy who is going to betray a community leader.
And, you know, his own community.
Yeah.
That's, I think we see so much of his internal conflict because even though he was not in this party, this wasn't his thing, and now he's infiltrated it on behalf of the FBI at their behest. It's not like he's against them.
No.
And then when you go to all these rallies and you hear all these speeches, of course, you can't help but think, this would improve my life too. Of course, you go along with it, but in the back of your head, you know, you're actually there for cross purposes.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see him try and walk that line. He's not sabotaging the Black Panthers at every opportunity that he gets. That's not his objective here. He's trying to participate and do some good while trying also to keep himself out of jail.
You know, you do wish, I mean, these are real people, and that's the real tragedy here. And you do wish that it didn't have to go down this way, and that he had some
it's such
options.
A waste. It is such a waste of both of these men.
Yes.
Who, I mean, obviously Fred Hampton did not get a chance to do much. He did a lot for 21 years old, but that's a very short life. And William, I don't think he had much of a life after this happened.
No. It sounds really sad.
Yeah.
And I think that really added the layer to me was, you know, the empathy that's created for the Judas, which you don't expect going in.
Yeah.
And then you see the impossible situation. And, you know, you can condemn him if you like, and maybe you should, but I mean, under those circumstances, how many people could really do anything else? Because you have to remember,
no other options.
He's also a black man at this time. So
he
whatever minor crimes, he knows it doesn't matter.
Oh no, he's going away forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he really was under duress, but he paid. He paid.
Yeah, he did.
The Jesse Plemons character gets to get promoted under J. Edgar Hoover.
Right.
And this guy really, is going to spend the rest of his life obviously wrestling with that guilt.
Yep.
So, it's sad, but it's so powerful. It's very well told. Shaka King,
Yep.
I'm glad
Great
this
job.
story got in his hands because it's extremely well told. It's very moving and it's memorable. Like I love this character that Daniel Kaluuya really, really gives him such a voice. My goodness. This is, first, you know, so early on in his career, and both he and Lakeith Stanfield, I was reminding you, were in Get Out. And that was sort of like their introductions really to Hollywood.
It was. Yeah.
And so it's nice to see them reunited here. But they're both have had these huge career trajectories that are just...
They've both picked really good roles.
Yes.
And have really... they're both chameleons. I don't feel... I never know what I'm going to get from either of them other than a good performance. I think that's really impressive they are both pretty young guys. So interested to see where they go from here.
What's next? That's right. Well, Judas and the Black Messiah by director Shaka. It will be on HBO Max February 12th, so not too much longer to wait. That's great. So we got to see it at Sundance. So glad we got to see it early.
Yeah.
Now we can tell you to put it on your calendar.
Absolutely. Yeah, look for this one, for sure.
And looking forward to discussing more of our Sundance movies, because we saw some great stuff, but I saw some crazy stuff too, guys. What kind of movie makes you put your birth date in?
Oh boy.
I'm going to tell you. But not today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.